When Gojo entered the Shibuya barrier, his battle with the curses could have ended instantly if he hadn't held back and fought with his full strength. But you might be wondering, why did he hold back? What if he had fought with everything he had? Would he still have been sealed, or would he have annihilated Kenjaku and ended the massacre in Shibuya? By the way, if you're not sentimental, I recommend watching this video about all the deaths in Shibuya. It's incredible and moving. So without further ado, subscribe and let's explore what could have happened. When we go back to the start of the Shibuya incident, in the first scene before the actual confrontation between Jogo, Hanami, Choso, and Satoru Gojo, we're shown a flashback revealing the curses conversing with Kenjaku. In this scene, the shaman Kenjaku provides a detailed explanation about Satoru Gojo's nature and the moments when he feels most at ease during a fight. He mentions that Satoru Gojo feels most comfortable when he's alone. It doesn't matter who it is, any shaman fighting alongside him interferes with his movements. So, let's use non-shamans to limit his freedom of action. A reverse technique generates at least twice the energy of a normal technique, making it almost impossible to avoid collateral damage to shaman. It'll be tricky for him to use the blue technique normally. The blue technique for speed is also dangerous for non-shaman, as the energy can kill them instantly upon touch. With this in mind, Satoru Gojo will be on the defensive. Kenjaku also clarifies that the presence of non-shamans within the curtain makes it unfeasible for Gojo to expand his domain, as he would need to create a barrier. If he set up the barrier to affect everyone around him, the non-shamans would die instantly, or, at worst, be left in a vegetative state. If he set up the barrier to keep non-shamans out, people would be pushed and crushed against the curtain. In short, using non-shamans around Gojo limit his destructive technique, forcing him to fight defensively without using his cursed energy on a large scale, as it would cost lives. Gojo, aware that he isn't a killer, avoids killing non-shamans unless absolutely necessary. His best friend, Suguru Geto, played a crucial role in shaping this moral, teaching him the value of a life. During their youth, Geto often reprimanded Gojo about killing for killing's sake or for revenge, emphasizing the importance of having a clear objective for his action. Even surrounded by curses in Shibuya, Gojo wouldn't kill non-shamans unless it was strictly necessary. He would act for the greater good, even if it meant losing a few lives. If Hanami and Jogo used their territories, Gojo would consider the lives already lost and use his own territory to finish the fight. This explains the circumstances in the Shibuya subway. The blue technique couldn't be used, as any touch on a non-shaman would result in death. The red technique, an explosion with double the energy that advances until it dissipates, was also out of the question, as it would cause deaths. And, obviously, the purple technique, extremely destructive, would kill everyone there. With all these restrictions, Gojo was left with his hands tied. Now, let's explore the parallel between Satoru Gojo and Raiman Sukuna. There is a notable similarity between these two shamans, but there's a crucial point where they differ. Both are extraordinarily strong, practically immortal and invincible, possessing immense cursed energy, and blessed with the greatest power the Jujutsu world can offer a single sorcerer. They are worthy of being called the most powerful, the strongest sorcerer in history, and the most powerful sorcerer of the modern era. This immense strength creates in both an extreme sense of superiority, leading them to act like true gods. They are arrogant and believe they can do whatever they want, however they want. However, what really differentiates Gojo from Sukuna is morality. Gojo's morality was deeply influenced by Suguru Geto. Through his friendship with Geto, Gojo learned the value of a life, not to kill indiscriminately or cause destruction for sheer fun. He understood that his presence is fundamental to everyone's safety, and that he himself is the foundation of a world that depends on him. With this, Gojo not only became stronger, but also a reference and an example for all other shamans. Raiman Sukuna, on the other hand, has no empathy or feelings for anyone or anything. He sees both non-shaman and shamans as ants to be crushed. If they're weak, he cuts them down. If they're annoying, he he slices them up. If they're entertaining, they're his toys until they break. This makes him deserving of the title King of Curses, an evil being who cares about nothing but himself. In chapter 30, the narrator even calls him honorable, saying, "Between heaven and earth, he is only honorable. Only his pleasure and displeasure exist." Sukuna doesn't care how many will die or be sliced up by his technique. He simply acts according to his will, as he did with Haruta right after the domain expansion in Shibuya, where Sukuna split him in half. This description is also addressed by Yoryu, who says, "I've seen all this before. Sorcerers, curses, it doesn't matter. The only ones capable of transcending beyond being merely strong are those with an overwhelming sense of self and a complete disregard for others, like natural disaster." Now, let's imagine a Satoru Gojo without the moral influence of Suguragido, a Gojo in his purest form, similar to Raiman Sukuna, a Gojo without any sense of morality or value for human life. Let's explore what this Gojo would do in the Shibuya incident, an event full of chaos and confrontation. If Gojo hadn't been shaped by Gedo's teaching, his actions during the Shibuya incident would have been radically different. He would still head to the location to face the curses, but the presence of civilians around him wouldn't matter. The scene where several people fall around Gojo due to the opening of the subway gates wouldn't weigh on his decisions. He would use his blue and red techniques without restrictions, attacking the curses with a clear intent to kill. He would probably focus on Jogo as the strongest present, crushing him against the subway wall. He would use blue flaws to destroy any of the enemies present, showing his full strength in an unrelenting and terrifying way, not caring about taking the lives of hundreds or even thousands of civilians. This Gojo, without considering the value of human life, would use the purple technique in the subway without hesitation. He would be the personification of raw, uncontrolled power. The violence Sukuna showed when attacking Jogo in the subway would be amplified, with Gojo eliminating Jogo, Hanami, and Choso in a matter of minutes. He would move through the subway, ignoring civilians, and pursue Mahito and Kenjaku with cold, relentless determination. The curse's plan would fail completely in the face of the brutality of the strongest, who knew no limits or mercy. As for the prison realm, the death of someone like Suguragido wouldn't affect Gojo emotionally. Kenjaku's appearance would trigger an immediate attack from Gojo, his only intention being to kill. He wouldn't hesitate to confront Kenjaku, Mahito, and any other allies present, using his most devastating techniques without any remorse. Mahito and Kenjaku, along with their group, would be defeated and eliminated that night. The reason Gojo didn't become the most feared force in history was the love for life that Gedo taught him and his ability to act with reason. Without these values, a new monarch, similar to Sukuna, would have emerged in that era. He wouldn't care about killing shamans, curses, or people, as long as it was convenient for his goal. If Satoru Gojo didn't hold back at any moment, he would become an unstoppable force, focused only on eliminating any threat, regardless of the consequences for the civilians around him. He would transform into a purely destructive entity, similar to a natural disaster, causing devastation wherever he went. The absence of empathy and consideration for human life would lead him to use his most devastating techniques without hesitation, turning the battlefield into a scene of chaos and destruction. His brutality and efficiency would render any plan against him practically useless, resulting in a total collapse of the curse's strategies. What did you think of this theory? A bit brutal, perhaps, but leave your opinion on what might happen if Satoru Gojo didn't hold back in Shibuya. Did you think of the same theory as I did? I'll be reading all the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to keep receiving our daily content. That said, see you in the next video.